Hi, and welcome to Chicago Style Eats, the show where we talk about and sample foods invented in or made famous by Chicago. I'm Tony.
And I'm Stephanie.
And in this episode, we take a bite of another Chicago original, stuffed pizza.
Rocco and Annunziata Palese were pizza makers in Italy for most of their lives until in 1969 they picked up roots and moved with their 3 children from Turin, Italy to Chicago. For 18 months, Annunziata worked factory and cleaning jobs. Rocco worked in various restaurants as a pizza maker, always experimenting with his original pizza ideas. While working at Guy's Pizza at Armitage and Costner in Chicago's Hermosa neighborhood, the very independent Rocco, who had grown tired of working for other people, seized upon a business opportunity, and in 1970, along with Annunziata's brother, also named Rocco, took over Guy's Pizza. Rocco continued experimenting with new pizza creations, and one idea, which he based on his mother's recipe for scarcetta, a double-crust Easter pie filled with meat and cheese, and which he called stuffed pizza, pleased him enough that he gave away samples on the street outside Guy's. Rocco's brother-in-law thought the stuffed pizza was garbage, and when Rocco pressed ahead and put stuffed pizza on the menu, his brother-in-law sold out his share of the business to Rocco.
With Annunziata now working in the kitchen with Rocco, they opened a series of bars and pizza restaurants on the Northwest Side. But business was lackluster for another pizza restaurant in a city full of pizza restaurants. But in 1973, Rocco noticed that pizza restaurants always had men's names. So he tried a new experiment, and using the English version of his wife's name, they opened Nancy's Ristorante, where Rocco's stuffed pizza was the featured item. The next year, they moved to a new location on West Lawrence Avenue in Harwood Heights, with a seating capacity of only 35. Then, in 1975, Chicago Magazine proclaimed Nancy's as the best pizza in Chicago. As you might expect, business picked up a little, and soon Rocco and Nancy expanded their location to seat 140 people. In 1977, they partnered with loyal customer Dave Howie and expanded their enterprise to include a new location in Oak Lawn. With Howie, they opened several other locations throughout the Chicago suburbs, and in 1990, they sold the rights to the Nancy's name to Howie, who, in 1991, launched the Nancy's franchise system, taking Nancy's and stuffed pizza nationwide.
But like any good Chicago origin story, there is drama and dispute. Shortly after Nancy and Rocco opened their Harwood Heights restaurant in 1974, a friend took Rocco to a new restaurant on Harlem Avenue where the pizza was nearly identical to Nancy's stuffed pizza. This new restaurant? Giordano's. The founders of Giordano's, brothers Efren and Joseph Boglio, claimed to have been inspired by their mother's recipe for scarcetta, the Italian Easter pie. However, according to Nancy and Rocco's daughter, Marissa, the Boglio brothers were 2 of Nancy and Rocco's former employees. Years later, Marissa sought legal action against Giordano's, but a judge ruled that too much time had passed. But Rocco was handing out free stuffed pizza samples outside of Guy's Pizza in 1973, possibly earlier, so we're going with Nancy on this one.
Then, territorial disputes arose between the Paleses and the Cirincione family, to whom they had sold their Harwood Heights and Central Avenue locations in the late 1970s, culminating in attempts to burn down Nancy's Des Plaines location in 1980 and 1982, and a bombing of Nancy's Lakeview restaurant, also in 1982.
What the fuck? The violence sparked rumors of mob involvement and insurance fraud, and it nearly ruined the Nancy's name. But Annunziata and Rocco Palese and Dave Howie overcame the controversy, built the franchise, and etched Nancy's stuffed pizza into Chicago's food history.
Though Nancy's story goes back more than 50 years, we were delighted to learn that one of the many Nancy's Ristorante locations in Chicagoland is still operated by the Palese family. So for our show, we visited the Niles location on West Gulf Road, and much to our surprise, the owner, Rocco and Annunziata's daughter Marissa, was hard at work. she took some of her time out of her busy day to sit and chat with us.
The legacy of Nancy is up and down, a lot of roller coaster days, but Rocco, Nancy, and his family created Nancy's the original home of the stuffed pizza. We had to watch him what he was doing, and we needed to stay on top of it because we had to, with them, we had to cook the pizza. For a while, I also cooked, and I know how to cook, even though I refuse to do it today. He needed to, and he wanted it to be exactly the way he made it, and that's exactly how it went. And it was a wonderful thing to see because when you're young, you think differently, but now as I'm getting older and I'm a little wiser, I see where everything came from.
Yep.
And I don't want someone else to come around and steal the idea that Nancy did not exist.
Yeah.
Yes, Nancy did exist, did a lot, and many of them create something that Rocco already invented. I do have a book that is still out, and I would like to say that in the future, if someone is interested to understand where Nancy, Rocco, and the family have been, and why this and why that, perhaps there will be the wonderful explanation how things went down. I saw my father cry after we got bombed 3 times and we were interrupted from a lifestyle that it came overnight to us because we're immigrants.
Yeah.
And that made me wake up and say, you know what, I'm going to step in and do what I have to do. It's create something that my father always wanted to have, and he could not make it succeed because he passed away.
Yeah.
And my mom, I feel bad for her because she grew up in a mentality where the man was responsible for everything, and so in many ways she shut up. And I opened my mouth. I learned how to open my mouth because I'm a strong woman, and women should stick with women. And this is why I want to do what I want to do. And that's what all started.
Good.
And I started writing, I put things in words. I don't remember anything, but I remember places and everything pretty much today, how things went down. And I stay strong. It wasn't easy, and it's not easy, but I am. And here where I am. We are trying to reinvent ourselves after 55 years of Nancy's Pizza. Not that we're moving Nancy's out of the way, no, because Nancy will be carried on from day about with franchise, and will always stays there, and I will always support them. It's the best thing ever happened to us.
Yeah.
But we want to reinvent ourselves with different partners, and we create a sport bar called All City Pizzeria and Sports Bar. Please join us, get the address, get involved, and support us. For 55 years, 56 years we're here in business. We're still here, and there has to be a reason why.
In 2 seasons of Chicago Style Eats, this is our 4th pizza episode. We got your deep dish, your tavern style, your pizza pot pie, and now we got your stuffed pizza. Okay, making pizza pot pie a category was our own idea, but still. So next time you're hosting a friend from out of town who says, I want some Chicago style pizza, you have to ask, what kind? And then tell them to subscribe to Chicago Style Eats so they can decide. So, in addition to getting to speak with Marissa, we did have some stuffed pizza, and it's really good.
It was really good. I was imagining it to be like deep dish with like, this is what I thought it was, a base crust and then a whole bunch of stuffing, and then another crust, and then pizza sauce on top, and then coming up around the edges. I honestly had no clue what I thought I was going to get, and that's not what it is.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, they just think it's another deep dish pizza.
Yeah.
But I was fiddling with the teleprompter. Did you say that it's a regular kind of a thin crust
so
on the
it's
bottom?
regular, crispy, thin crust
on the bottom,
and it goes up around the sides like a pie, and then it's very nice and crispy. So tavern style pizza fans would probably like this because it has that crispy pie crust. Yeah. No, crispy pie crust. Crispy pie. Thank you. Sorry. The Alzheimer's. Yeah. Crispy pie crust.
Crusty pie crust.
Crusty pie crust. Yeah.
And
Easter Christ. Okay. Anyway.
And then deep dish pizza, the bottom crust is thick. It's like bread rather than crust. So
and you always wonder if it's really truly cooked up.
There's the difference. You can't really see because of the sauce on top. You can't really see the top layer of dough, but it's there, and those are the main differences between the two. No, the deep dish is stuffed,
on top.
but stuffed has the dough layer of dough, and then the sauce on top. Yeah.
So I got the 4 cheese, and it was very good. It was nice crispy crust, and then nice gooey cheese, which everyone knows I like, and then really good sauce on top, and the crust that went up around the edges was also nice and crispy and had a buttery flavor. So if you like Lou Malnati's deep dish with the butter crust, this is very much the same flavoring of that butter crust. And I had the menu says that all stuffed pizza is a cheese pizza. Then every ingredient you add, of course, there's a little extra charge. They have a few menu staples, I guess you'd call it, that have a set number of ingredients that you can order by their name, or you can do what I did, which was I just put sausage, mushroom, black olives. It's my favorite pizza ingredient. Sausage was like meatballs. They were so big.
Chunks of sausage.
Chunks.
And they're very. My first bite, I didn't get any sausage. It was middle of the pie, and it was just by chance I didn't get a piece of sausage. And I was like, oh, okay. And then the next bite, I got a piece of sausage. I was like, okay, this is good.
I mean, he was cutting the sausage because it was so big.
Yeah, they were
chunks.
Chunks, yeah.
And the sauce was really good. And Marissa was a delight. She was so much fun to sit and chat with. And we discovered that she is writing a book. So growing up, and I guess through her adult years, she kept a journal every day. And so she decided to use the journal to tell the story of her dad's legacy and how he invented this pizza. And it wasn't anybody else who invented it, and he should get all the credit. So she's basically writing a story to back him up and to show how she persevered and stayed strong through all the adversity.
Yeah, and she was a teenager when they opened the first restaurant. I guess they bought out Guy's Pizza, and that was their first restaurant. And she was there when he was handing out the free samples of the stuffed pizza because it was a new thing. He wasn't selling it. He was trying to see how it went over. And it wasn't a story she heard. She was there. She witnessed it. So she knows who invented it. And
she told us about how they used to put their story on the placemats, and so that should have been proof that they started the stuffed pizza because the story is on the placemats before Giordano's was ever opened by those two employees. And I do want to say that scarchetta. If you Google scarchetta,
I'll have a picture.
The pie that comes up doesn't look anything. It's not even pizza dough. It's like a pastry
dough.
Yeah. So it doesn't even resemble pizza. So he was quite inventive.
That's why we were confused because we're looking for a round pie that has. We've had pictures up by now because I'm editing this later. It was. And what the pictures that we found are they're shaped like an Easter basket.
Yeah. There were some that looked more bread than anything else, with an egg, whole egg. Yeah.
And from the few things I read was that the scarchetta is just meat and cheese. There's no tomato sauce. So he took that idea of the meat and cheese pie, with top and bottom layer of dough, and through traditional pizza ingredients and sauce in it, and worked it to make sure it tasted right, and then boom, instant Chicago classic.
Yep.
So
So you can go, well, okay, so now we should also mention Marissa is moving forward with Nancy's for a new adventure, and she's partnering with Peter, and they're opening a new place called Old City Pizzeria and Sports Bar.
they're still Nancy's.
But they're transforming.
They're transforming.
Yep.
And she's very excited about it. But yeah, same recipe.
That will continue. So if you want the
Right.
original, you can go to Nancy's Ristorante in Niles at
8706 West Gulf Road
in Niles,
in Niles.
which sometime in the next few weeks will be transforming and will become Old City. But
Old
it'll
City
still
Bar.
have that same recipe pizza.
I'll have the-
Or you can go to any of the Nancy franchises, which you can find the locations on their website, and they're even out of state.
Yeah, we don't know we didn't study the whole vast network of it. But normally we tell you where you can go to get stuffed pizza. We're not going to do that. Just go to Nancy's.
Yeah, go to Nancy's. That's the original recipe for over 55 years, and Marissa's just a delight.
Yeah.
Very cute. So we would like you, after watching the episode and watching, maybe going back and looking at our other 3 episodes on pizza, tavern, deep dish, pizza pot pie, to then, in the comments below, mention which is your favorite style of pizza, even if it's not one of the 4 Chicago invented.
Yeah. Which,
Yeah.
we'll give you the stink eye. But,
We'd like
thank
to
you for
comment.
watching
Yeah.
and commenting if you comment.
Comment.
So, go out and get yourself some original Chicago-style stuffed pizza at Nancy's and
Enjoy.
Coming up on the next Chicago-Style Eats.
Lewis Williams was known for his smart business sense, and Tom Newman was a renowned mixologist, and the pair specialized in mixing fancy drinks for their patrons.
Williams, with perhaps the greatest mixologist in all of Chicago in his vest pocket, wired his partner back home with a challenge. Create the most amazing rum punch anyone anywhere has ever put their lips on, and send it to me here in Cohasset. Newman got to work immediately and within 24 hours placed a cask of his new rum punch on a train bound for his partner in Cohasset. If you like this episode, click the thumbs up icon below. Don't like it? Let us know in the comments what might make it better. Want to see more Chicago-style eats? Click the subscribe button below so you can get an alert each time we drop a new episode. Don't know what the heck we're doing? Click on the end screen or the link in the description below to see our intro video. Thanks for watching.